Hey, what's up everybody? Mark Enright from Mortar Heads here. Recently got a request. Someone wanted to know how I paint my eyeballs. This happened while I was at Mask Fest in Cincinnati, Horror Hound Convention last month in September 2024. This is one of my Eye-Pukes, and these are the eyeballs. Someone wanted to know exactly how I paint these eyeballs. Nothing spectacular. They're semi-realistic. You know, this is fake puke with eyeballs in it. I'm not going for full 100% realistic. This is a $20 fake puke item, so this is about as good as my eyeballs get. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be painting an Eye-Pad. The Eye-Pad, similar to the Eye-Puke, but the Eye-Pad is puddled blood instead of puke with eyeballs in it. So, first step, move the puke out of the way. Okay. Now, you're going to be painting the eyeball all red. Okay, so I have some nightshades from Motion Picture Effects, red rum. This is latex mask paint. It's very good, sticks to latex like crazy, no complaints. So what I'm gonna do, got my airbrush. I'm just using a simple Pache H. I forget what size tip. I think it's a 1. So nothing, nothing insane. Alright, so there you go. I got my red rum paint. Make sure it's coming out. Now, usually when I do the Eye-Pad, I paint the eyeballs first, and then the puddle part, which is the puke, gets painted a different color. But since this is an Eye-Pad where it's blood, it's all going to be red. So lucky for me, I get to just fully paint this red completely, which makes my life a lot easier. And as a matter of fact, this is going to be the last Eye-Pad I make. I'm actually discontinuing these because they just don't really sell. So here we go. So I'm going to paint it all red. The next color I'm going to be doing is white. Okay, and then also I'm going to it's pretty warm today. It's in the 80s. Temperature in the garage right now is 84, toasty 84. So I'm just gonna, I need to have this paint dry before I move on to the white. Nothing more fun than just watching paint dry, huh, kids? Alright, I think that's good enough. So now I'm going to take my next color, white. I'll be using the same type of paint, Maybe Monsters Nightshades from Motion Picture Effects. This is Fright White. And again, you don't have to use this paint, you can use whatever paint you like. But this paint dries pretty quick, and that helps when you're doing this. So here is the item in question that I was talking about. So this is what I use to make the veins. So what I'm going to do, I have my eyeballs. I'm going to lay this over And I actually have a little rubber band that goes around the paint off of it. So here's the rubber band. These are just those rubber bands that kids make bracelets out of. It's just a smaller rubber band. So, all right, before I start doing it though, let me explain what this item is. It's really hard to get. So basically it's made of kind of strings, and I believe it's just like a decorative packaging item. Like you get a bottle of wine, it comes wrapped in this. It just presentation wise makes it look a little nicer or something, but I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. I think it came in a bottle of wine, packed with some wine or something like that. And I just saw this crazy pattern on here, and I was like, yeah, I can definitely probably use that for something. And I've used it on eyes, I've used it on skin to kind of give like a lightning, weird Frankenstein look too. But okay, before I put the eye on there, let me put some paint in my brush. Alright, so basically what I do, I take the rubber band. Now if you're doing this on a mask, you can't really do it like this, but this is the idea. So I'm going to put the rubber band over it to make it tight. And also since I'm painting white over this, I don't want a lot of white to get, you know, on what I've already painted red, so I put this down as kind of a mask. And then I'm just going to paint white. And again, this latex paint, it dries pretty quick, so that's pretty helpful when doing this. Okay, so I got all the whites of the eye painted in, and you see I'm just painting over the fabric. I'm going to hit it with a hair dryer real quick to help it dry out a little bit faster. Okay, take that off. Slowly take the rubber band off. I say slowly because it will fly off somewhere and you will never find it again, at least for a month from now. That's why I have a stack of them. Okay, so I'm gonna put the rubber band over here, out of the way. And here's the big reveal. Okay, you ready, kids? Here we go. Ta-da! There is the veiny eyeball. Hopefully this camera is not too, hopefully it's not too washed out because this light is so bright. And iPhones just totally wash out everything. So I would repeat that on all the eyes. You know, there are parts that still have kind of blood covering them, so put the mask away. Okay, now the next step is to paint the eyes. I have these handy little guys. This was a spaghetti stick. This was actually part of a bigger thing here. I found this in a thrift store, and it was called the spaghetti stick. And basically, it has serving sizes for child, teenager, adult, and this is like disgusting pig. I don't know what the last size is. A lot. But you would put your uncooked spaghetti in there and it would be the perfect portion of spaghetti for your child or husband, whatever. So I found this, and it makes great circles, and it's small. It's easy to work around. So the first thing I do, now this is a eyeball method I actually got from Jordy Shell. Basically, you're gonna paint a black circle, large black circle. Then over that, you would paint a white. You paint that white, and it kind of gives it a blue hue, which pretty much makes it a blue eye. But since this Nightshades paint is kind of opaque, that method doesn't work great with opaque paint. It kind of makes it just more of a gray eye. So usually what I do, I just spray a little green or blue on it, just to give it a little extra color. But so the next color I'm going to do is going to be black. Now I'm going to be using Black Sabbath for all you Aussie fans out there. So now you can just kind of decide, you know, if you're painting this, if you're doing this on a mask, obviously your eyes are going to be going the direction you want. But since these eyes are just randomly on here, they don't have to be any particular direction. So I'm just going to do it pointing like almost straight up. I put tape around this just to keep the overspray down. Alright, so we painted it red, put the fabric over it, painted it white for the veins, did a black circle. Now let me clean out my airbrush again. I'm going to go back to white. After I put the white on there, I'll add a little blue as well. Like I said before, just to give it some real color. Now, I know there's a lot of people like Jordu and probably Ed Edmonds from Distortions, and probably many others that just paint their eyes. They just do it freehand, but I don't know. I don't like to have any overspray on the pupil and the iris. I want to kind of make it as clean as possible, since I'm doing it such a quickie way. I want it, you know, like I said before, I'm not going for full realistic, but I want it to look as realistic as possible for this fake $20 novelty item I'm making. So I want it to be the most perfect circle I can make, and if I did it freehand, you know, it's not going to look as good. And again, these kind of stencils, you can buy stencils like this. And well, I don't know about the spaghetti stick. I've never tried to find another one. Actually, probably should, because it's a pretty valuable. I should remarket it as a Mortar Head stick, because I use this probably more than anything when I'm painting stuff. So, but basically, you know, you get your stencil again. I'm going to lay it over the same place. And you don't want to fully blast it and just make it white, but just kind of want to give it a light. As you see, that kind of gives it a little. Again, I don't know how good it'll come through on the camera, but from far away, kind of gives it a hazily, you know, hazel blue colored eye. So let me I'm going to lay a light mist of blue over there. Now when I used to use the Createx paints to do eyeballs, they're a lot thinner, and that method worked a lot better. I usually didn't have to add any other color over it. It was just fine. And if you want to leave it like that too, you could. The next thing I'm going to do the pupil, and once you do the pupil, that kind of brings it to life. I'm gonna use some more Maybe Monsters. This is Street Trash. It's just kind of like blue. It's just blue basically. I mean, it's not just blue, it's blue. Street trash, you know. So then just grab your trusty stencil again. You're gonna lay it over. Now usually, if you want to make it more realistic, you want to try to get more color in the middle, I guess. That's usually what I do. I don't know if that makes it more realistic or not, but that's kind of what I try to do, because I think the iris is where you have all the, I don't even know what you call them, it has all the lines in the eye and everything, so it's kind of, that's where all their variations happen. So that's just what I do. You can do it how you like. You can just blast it, make it totally opaque, blue, green, orange, whatever color you want, brown, but this is what you end up with at this step. You're going to be going back to black, just like AC/DC. Sorry, that was a dad joke. I know the AC/DC song is back. Okay, this is the stencil I'm using this time. It's really hard to see because it's clear. But this, it was some kind of hanger for something. I think there was something attached to it. I don't know if it was socks or a shirt or something, but this makes it so easy to put the pupil right where you want it on an eyeball, because you can see right through it. Makes it really easy. Alright, so I'm going back to Black Sabbath, just like Ozzy did for that reunion. Sometimes I will also put some painter's tape around this if I want it super perfect. But probably for this, I probably won't need it. But I'm just going to line up exactly where I want the pupil to be. Voila! Let me turn this off. Might be easier to see it in the regular lighting. It's not so washed out. So you have all the veins on there. Let me turn this. And then after I get all the eyes painted like this, the next step that I do personally, this is not a secret thing. A lot of people put epoxy on their eyeballs, 5-minute epoxy. I forget the brand most people use. I think it starts with a D or something like that. I use this JB Weld clear weld quick setting epoxy. It's 2-part epoxy. You squirt some out. It has kind of a syringe setup. You squirt some out, you mix it up for about 20-30 seconds, and then you grab an acid brush or a paint brush, such as this. You get all the epoxy on there and you just give it a good coat of epoxy, and you know, spread it all over the eye. Like I said, the 5-minute epoxy, you brush it on, give it a good amount, make it nice and slimy. If you're just doing it on a mask, you know, you can put whatever amount you like. You just want it to look really wet, but the epoxy gives it a nice wet look. So that is the end. Hopefully this helps somebody out there, or not. But this is how to paint eyes the Mortar Heads way. So thanks for tuning in. I'd say like and subscribe, but you know, I hardly ever do videos. I do plan on doing some more Mask Tag Monday videos this year after Halloween, so keep an eye out for those. And thanks. See y'all later.